By the time you finish watching this video, around 15 more Americans will have suffered a stroke. That is because, according to national health data, more than 795,000 people in the United States experience a stroke each year, and a large majority are first-time events. Even more sobering, roughly 3 in 4 strokes happen after 65. For older adults, stroke is not only a sudden medical crisis, it often becomes a slow loss of independence, a struggle with words, a fear of falling, a quiet grief for the life felt just out of reach. Here's the truth most people never hear in the exam room. Up to 8 in 10 strokes are preventable when we tame high blood pressure, rein in cholesterol, and cool chronic inflammation. One of the fastest ways to do that does not live in a prescription bottle. It lives in your kitchen, in this guide. I will show you 6 everyday foods that peer-reviewed research links to lower stroke risk, better vessel flexibility, steadier blood pressure, and clearer thinking after 60. No exotic powders. No costly subscriptions. Just simple groceries you can buy anywhere. Prepared in ways your body will thank you for. Before we dive in, if you have not subscribed yet, I recommend you hit that button and turn on the bell so you never miss another health tip made just for you. If you enjoy this video, type 1 in the comments. If not, type 0 to let me know how I can make better content for you. Now let us begin with a small pleasure that doubles as protection for your brain. Part 1. Dark chocolate. A sweet habit that could save your brain. Do you enjoy a little chocolate after lunch or dinner? Good. Because when chosen wisely and eaten in modest amounts, dark chocolate can become a tiny daily ritual that supports brain blood flow. The key is cocoa content. Look for bars with at least 70% cocoa. Not milk chocolate. Not white chocolate. The power comes from cocoa flavonols, plant compounds that coax your blood vessels to relax by increasing nitric oxide, the gentle signal that tells arteries to open and deliver oxygen. In older adults, better vascular flexibility translates to lower blood pressure and a smoother trip for blood heading to the brain. Observational research following tens of thousands of adults for more than a decade found that regular dark chocolate eaters enjoyed a meaningful reduction in stroke events compared with non-eaters. Small clinical trials have shown that cocoa-rich in flavonols can improve cerebral perfusion and sharpen certain attention and memory tasks in just a couple of weeks. Dark chocolate also carries magnesium, a mineral that helps steady blood pressure and ease vascular tension, along with trace amounts of theobromine and natural caffeine that can lift alertness without overly stressing the heart when consumed in modest portions. How much is enough? Think 1 to 2 small squares, about the size of a tea bag wrapper, taken once daily after a meal to blunt any glycemic rise. Choose products with short ingredient lists, minimal added sugar, and no hydrogenated oils. A few cautions are worth noting. First, even healthy chocolate is calorie dense, so overeating will work against weight, blood sugar, and reflux. Second, some sugar-free bars use sugar alcohols like maltitol or sorbitol that can trigger gas or loose stools in sensitive seniors. Third, if you take certain medications, especially monoamine oxidase inhibitor antidepressants, migraine medicines, or blood pressure drugs, ask your clinician to confirm no conflict with cocoa or tyramine-containing foods. When used thoughtfully, that daily square becomes more than a treat. It is a vascular tune-up wrapped in a wrapper. If this surprised you, Wait until you hear how a humble bowl of beans can lower homocysteine, flatten blood sugar spikes, and quietly guard your arteries. Part 2. Beans and lentils. The heart-friendly protein that protects your brain. Open your pantry, and you may already own one of the strongest stroke prevention tools we have. Beans and lentils. Black beans, chickpeas, pintos, red kidney beans, green or brown lentils. They are inexpensive, shelf-stable, and remarkably powerful for vessels and nerves. Here is why. These legumes deliver a trio of protection. First, fiber, both soluble and insoluble, which binds cholesterol in the gut, blunts after meal glucose surges, nourishes the microbiome, and gently lowers inflammatory tone throughout the body. Second, plant protein that supports muscle maintenance without the saturated fat baggage found in many animal proteins. Third, minerals like potassium and magnesium that help relax arterial walls and keep blood pressure in a safer range. There is a fourth benefit that is often overlooked: folate. Elevated homocysteine, an amino acid residue, erodes arterial lining and increases clot risk. Folate from lentils and beans helps recycle homocysteine back into safer compounds. A biochemical nudge that may translate to fewer ischemic events. Reviews in reputable nutrition journals have documented that increasing folate intake through legumes can drop homocysteine by roughly a quarter, and population studies repeatedly link frequent legume consumption to lower cardiovascular and stroke risk. One cooked cup of lentils brings generous fiber, robust protein, nearly the daily target for folate, and a strong helping of potassium, all wrapped in a low-sodium, low-fat package. Compare that to a typical processed meat lunch, which pushes salt, saturated fat, and nitrites that inflame and stiffen vessels. Implementation can be simple. Rinse canned beans thoroughly to remove excess sodium, or soak dry beans overnight to improve tolerance. Start with a half cup if digestion is sensitive, then build toward a cup most days. Toss black beans onto a salad with avocado and tomatoes. Simmer a pot of lentils with onions, carrots, garlic, olive oil, and a pinch of cumin. Blend white beans into a silky spread with lemon and parsley to smear on whole grain toast. If gas worries you, add ginger, fennel, or bay leaves while cooking, and consider smaller frequent portions while your microbiome adapts. The payoff is steady: better cholesterol, flatter glucose, softer blood pressure, happier arteries, and a brain that receives the blood it needs when it needs it. If beans seem too humble to matter, just wait until you meet the creamy green fruit that swaps bad fats for good and keeps vessel linings smooth. Part 3. Avocados. The creamy fruit that protects your arteries. Avocados feel like a luxury. But inside that soft green flesh lives a cardiometabolic toolkit seniors can use daily. The headline nutrient is monounsaturated fat, is especially oleic acid, the same heart-friendly fat that anchors extra virgin olive oil. Replace spreads like butter or shortenings with avocado and you lower LDL, the cholesterol most likely to deposit in arterial walls, while nudging HDL upward. The scavenger lipoprotein that ferries cholesterol away for recycling. That swap alone has been linked with reduced events in large cohorts. And controlled feeding trials show that an avocado a day can improve LDL particle quality and endothelial function. The subtle ability of vessels to relax on command. Avocados also deliver more potassium per gram than bananas, helpful for sodium balance and blood pressure control, plus magnesium for rhythm stability, vitamin K for vascular integrity, and folate to support homocysteine metabolism. Fiber in avocados slows carbohydrate absorption and feeds gut bacteria that create anti-inflammatory short-chain fatty acids. Another quiet win for vessels. For women and men over 60 whose arteries naturally lose elasticity, these nutrients act like nourishment for the endothelium, the one cell-thin lining that decides whether a vessel constricts or opens. When the endothelium is calm and responsive, the brain receives steadier perfusion, and platelets are less likely to stick where they should not. Practical use is straightforward. A quarter to a half avocado daily is plenty. Spoon slices over a bean and tomato salad. Mash with lemon and pepper atop whole grain toast. Blend a chunk into a berry and kefir smoothie to add satiety without sugar. If calories are a concern, remember that a modest portion goes a long way because fat is satiating. If you are on anticoagulants, note the steady vitamin K intake and keep your diet consistent rather than avoiding greens and avocados altogether. One caution: guacamole with salty chips becomes a sodium trap that raises blood pressure. Pair avocado with vegetables, legumes, and whole grains, and you transform a snack into therapy. If this creamy ally intrigues you, the next food brings a different kind of fat, one that we cannot make on our own, yet our brains crave for resilience. Part 4. Fatty fish. The brain's favorite protein: salmon, sardines, trout, herring, mackerel. These are not just dinner options. They are delivery systems for omega-3 fatty acids that soothe inflamed vessels and keep blood less sticky. Docosahexaenoic acid and icosapentaenoic acid, the long-chain omega-3s found in marine fish, lower triglycerides, improve endothelial function, and can reduce the tendency of platelets to clump inappropriately, all of which lowers the likelihood of an ischemic stroke, the kind caused by a clot. Large, pooled analyses following hundreds of thousands of people reveal that eating fatty fish roughly twice weekly correlates with a meaningful reduction in ischemic events. Randomized trials add biological plausibility, showing improved vessel dilation and favorable lipid changes when omega-3 intake rises. Fatty fish brings more than omegas. Vitamin D supports vascular and immune balance. Vitamin B12 protects myelin and neural signaling. Selenium partners with antioxidants to defend delicate brain tissue from oxidative stress. High-quality protein preserves muscle mass. Critical for balance, gait, and independence after 60. To harvest these benefits without pitfalls, choose wisely. Bake, broil, or poach rather than fry. Frying oxidizes oils and adds refined fats that sabotage vessels. Favor wild salmon, sardines, and trout, which are naturally lower in mercury. Pair fish with lemon, herbs, olive oil, and a heap of leafy greens or beans. For those who dislike the taste, start with milder options like salmon. Add fresh lemon zest, dill, or parsley. And try chilled salmon salad bound with olive oil yogurt instead of mayonnaise. If you take anticoagulants or have bleeding risks, discuss omega-3 supplements with your clinician. Getting omegas from food a couple of times each week is generally gentle and effective. For plant-based seniors, consider algae-derived DHA and EPA as an alternative. And combine with walnuts, ground flax, or Kia, though conversion from plant alpha-linolenic acid to the long-chain forms is limited. The point is consistency. Give your brain the fats it needs regularly, and your arteries will carry that gift to every fold and groove that makes you you. If fish sounds doable, the next protector is delightfully simple. It grows on bushes, it stains your fingers, and it teaches vessels how to behave like they are younger. Part 5. Berries. The tiny fruit that guards your brain. Blueberries, strawberries, raspberries, blackberries. Their vivid colors advertise something your brain quietly craves. Anthocyanins and other polyphenols that put out inflammatory sparks and shield vessel linings from oxidative wear. In long-running cohort studies that track tens of thousands of women and men, those who ate berries several times per week had a substantially lower risk of stroke compared with those who rarely ate them. Laboratory and human physiology studies explain how anthocyanins enhance nitric oxide availability, making arteries more willing to relax. They reduce adhesion molecules on vessel walls, making it harder for white blood cells and platelets to stick and start trouble. They temper after meal blood sugar bumps, a crucial advantage because diabetes roughly doubles stroke risk. Regular berry eaters also tend to show better executive function and memory on simple cognitive tests, a sign that more oxygen and less inflammation may be reaching key brain regions. Implementation is easy. Keep a bag of mixed frozen berries in the freezer, so cost and season are not barriers. Toss a 1/2 to 1 cup onto oatmeal or yogurt. Blend into a smoothie with spinach and kefir, or spoon over a small square of dark chocolate for a brain-smart dessert. Choose unsweetened, frozen, or fresh options. Skip canned fruit in syrup, which drowns benefits in added sugar. If you take warfarin, berries are safe. But remember that piling on leafy greens later will require consistent intake and medical guidance. A note for dentures or sensitive mouths. Thaw frozen berries briefly so they are softer to chew. The goal is repetition, not perfection. A few joyful handfuls most days create a polyphenol rhythm your vessels soon come to expect. You have now met fruits and fats that help, but the next family of foods may be the quiet champions of stroke prevention. They taste like the color green. They lift nitric oxide. And they slip into almost any meal without protest. Part 6. Leafy greens. The everyday vegetables that help prevent stroke. Spinach, kale, collards, Swiss chard, arugula, romaine. Leafy greens are as close as we get to vascular medicine on a plate. Their combination of folate, vitamin K, magnesium, potassium, fiber, and nitrates works on nearly every stroke pathway. Folate lowers homocysteine. Vitamin K supports vascular integrity and, with clinical oversight, can be kept steady even if you use anticoagulants. Magnesium and potassium help relax arterial smooth muscle and support normal rhythm. Fiber steadies glucose and improves cholesterol trafficking. Natural nitrates convert to nitric oxide, directly teaching arteries to open and deliver oxygen to hungry brain tissue. Prospective studies link higher green vegetable intake with lower ischemic stroke risk. Small trials show that nitrate-rich greens improve endothelial function within days. A measurable softening of vessels that you can build into a habit. The barrier is rarely evidence. It is taste, preparation, and routine. Solve for those and greens become easy. Sauté spinach in olive oil with garlic until just wilted. Then finish with lemon. Blend a handful of baby kale into a berry smoothie. The fruit will mask the bitterness. Fold chopped collards into soups and stews where they sweeten with thyme. Toss arugula with olive oil, balsamic vinegar, and crushed walnuts beside baked salmon. Aim for 1 cooked cup daily, or 2 raw cups. Mindful to keep intake consistent if you use warfarin, so your dosing can be managed properly. Avoid drowning greens in creamy dressings or salty sauces that undo their benefit by raising sodium and saturated fat. If kidney stones are a concern, varietal rotation helps. Mix romaine and arugula with spinach to balance oxalate exposure, and drink water across the day. The first week of a greens habit, you may not feel much. The second week, energy often rises and digestion improves. Over months, blood pressure tends to lean lower. Cholesterol ratios nudge better. And, most important, vessels behave younger. You have added chocolate, legumes, avocados, fish, berries, and greens to your toolkit. Now, let us knit them together into a simple rhythm you can repeat without effort. Part 7. Your Brain Smart Plate After 60. Simple ways to eat for stroke prevention every day. A plan only works if it fits your life, your budget, and your taste. Here is a straightforward template you can modify forever. Breakfast can be quick. Rolled oats, cooked with water or milk of choice. Topped with a half cup of mixed berries, a spoon of ground flax, and a few walnut pieces. Or blend a smoothie with kefir or unsweetened yogurt. A handful of baby spinach. Frozen blueberries. A small chunk of avocado for creaminess, and cinnamon. Add 1 or 2 squares of 70% dark chocolate after lunch or dinner to anchor your flavanols. Lunch might be a large salad piled with arugula and romaine, black beans, sliced avocado, tomatoes, cucumbers, and a lemon olive oil dressing. If you prefer warm meals, simmer a pot of lentil vegetable soup on the weekend and ladle a bowl daily with a side of whole grain bread. Dinner twice weekly can feature baked salmon or trout with lemon and herbs, plus garlicky sautéed greens and a scoop of quinoa. On other nights, build grain bowls with brown rice or farro, chickpeas, roasted vegetables, and tahini lemon sauce. Season liberally with spices like turmeric, cumin, oregano, dill, and black pepper, which bring extra antioxidants and reduce salt needs. Hydration matters. Aim to drink water consistently and enjoy tea or coffee in moderation, which can be heart-friendly when unsweetened. Keep sodium modest by cooking more at home and choosing low-sodium canned goods. For dessert, choose fruit. Most nights, saving richer sweets for special occasions. If you take anticoagulants, coordinate your consistent green intake with your clinician. If you live with diabetes, pair carbohydrates with protein and fat. Lean on legumes, fish, and greens, and test your response to find your best balance. Add movement and a brisk walk most days. Light strength exercises for legs and back, and simple breath work to soften stress hormones will multiply the benefit of your plate. Finally, recruit support. Share this plan with a spouse, a friend, or a caregiver. Cook together one afternoon a week and stock the fridge with Brain Smart leftovers. Prevention is not about perfection. It is about repetition. A handful of choices made well, made often. Doctor's final words. Stroke prevention after 60 is not a mystery reserved for specialists. It is a daily practice written in your grocery list and on your plate. Dark chocolate in small squares. Beans and lentils in comforting bowls. Avocados spread with intention. Fatty fish baked with lemon. Berries that stain your fingers. Leafy greens that taste like life. Layer these foods on top of steady medication use when prescribed. Regular movement, good sleep, and meaningful connection. And you tilt the odds toward more mornings, more laughter, and more time inside the life you love. Your body still remembers how to heal. Your vessels still respond to kindness. Your brain still brightens when oxygen and nutrients arrive on time. Start with one change today. Add berries at breakfast. Swap butter for avocado. Trade a processed dinner for a bowl of lentil soup and greens. Then add the next change next week. Small acts. Repeated. Before we close, if you have not subscribed yet, tap the button and turn on the bell so you never miss a health tip made just for you. If this helped you, comment 1. If not, comment 0 so I can improve the next video. Share this with someone you love. Because prevention works best when we do it together.